They're gonna kill the love of my life.
David!
If I don't go back to what I was doing.
Our line of work is quite brutal and quite ruthless.
How far would you go for love?
You steal truck, bring it to me. Then you make your money.
Is it dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous!
Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, with Ben Kingsley and Anthony Hopkins.
All this trouble, all this pain, for love.
Collide. Now playing. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. You have reached Venus Unplugged, your virtual heartbreak hotel. This is your host, Llorraine Neithardt, and Venus Unplugged, the Heartbreak Hotel, has to do with all Venusian realms, the good, the bad, the conscious, love, beauty, heartbreak, wounding, healing, transformation. You name it, we talk about it here, okay? So today is going to be, or actually it's going to be the next couple of weeks, because we're going to examine the archetypal realm of the four eternal women, these four archetypes, which I started to do a little bit. I touched on it last week. And then I realized, wow, this is going to take a couple of broadcasting to give you, well, certainly not a comprehensive, because these subject matters are deep and profound and are with us forever. But before we do that, because today is an eclipse and it's pretty powerful, I mean, we will be talking about the mother, both the archetypal mother and personal mother, how that energy lives in us and how it can be glorious and not so glorious. But since it's an eclipse, I thought we'd do a little experiment here, okay? Now, you know, I was born clairvoyant. Actually, my gift is smell. I have scent. I smell the soul, which took a long time to figure that one out. But that's the divine's little joke with me. It's like, oh, give her something she can't find. That'll keep her busy. And so I am always looking for where mysticism and science kiss, where they merge, where they mirror one another. Because as above, so below is an ancient axiom of all occult and esoteric laws and all the esoteric sciences. So I found this quote from Einstein. I thought, wow, okay, let's have a little experiment with manifestation, heart manifestation. So I'm going to read you these two quotes, and then I'm going to give you a little task, and if you so accept, let's see what happens. So the quote is, anyone who becomes seriously involved in the pursuit of science, I also think it's the pursuit of the esoteric too, becomes convinced that there is a spirit manifest in the laws of the universe, a spirit vastly superior to that of man. That's a quote, direct quote from Albert Einstein. And the second quote is, all matter originates and exists by virtue of a force. We must assume behind the force is the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. And that was by Max Planck, the father of quantum physics, 1858 to 1947. So, got two great men of science mirroring, revealing what the occult has always known. So today, I would like you, because everybody wants to manifest something, their beloved, their soulmate, the perfect job, health for their children, whatever it might be. So the way of the heart, you know, it's like, how does the universe hear us? Well, the heart, our physical heart, produces electromagnetic field that radiates 4 to 12 foot out. It can be greater, and it can be lesser. Okay, now this field radiates out and then swirls around us, all right? So we're enveloped, okay, in this heart energy, this electromagnetic field. Now, if somebody kind of has a wicked heart, well, we don't want to get so close to that person. There's something we go like, cats won't be jumping in your lap, that's for sure. So we know that exists, okay? Now, the heart center is actually, it's more to the left under the arm, although we concentrate it in the center of the body where our physical heart is. So it produces this electromagnetic field that radiates, and the heart is an electrical organ, so it binds the cells of the body. When we begin to, I don't know if anybody knows about tachyon energy, which are these little beads, these little jewels that are filled with this electromagnetic field of tachyon energy. They're very powerful healers. So the harmonic compassion, when we have compassion, what that means is we're not fighting for power. And this is what we've been actually talking about in another way through Venusian energy, which is the opposites. Everything has its equal and opposite. And what I'm attempting to do here is the language of that opposite, the language of psyche, so that we can begin to see, people will go like, well, is that good or is that bad? It's like, well, on Tuesday it'll be good, Thursday, well, it'll be its opposite. But when we're in the center of those opposing forces, which is the nature of existence, so if we choose only one side, we become lopsided. But the harmonic compassion is when we're not fighting for power. And the heart is the main broadcaster of the body. Emotions are not your soul. They're emotions. That's something different. Okay. So what I would propose for today is that, let's say we want to call forth the beloved, the soulmate, since this is about Venus. But Venus is also money. Or we want to call forth the perfect position. Or we want to call forth, well, what's my purpose, all right? I know everybody tells you to do a list. I've never been a list person because there's so many, we're always calling in its opposite. And you'll see people go, well, yeah, I think I got my soulmate, but then I didn't know they had a shadow of, being a liar or something. Okay. So what you do is sit quietly, no lists. Throw out your list. Remember, you will love again. Throw out those lists. Throw out those love letters. Center yourself in your heart. Just feel your heart. Don't worry if you don't meditate. We're still broadcasting all the time anyway. You're doing this all the time, 24/7. So the only difference now is you're paying attention. And what you will do is develop a feeling tone. Not a list. Those are qualities. But the feeling tone of what that would feel like I'm going to use the example of meeting the beloved, the soulmate. And that could be friends, too. That could be any kind of relationship. It just doesn't have to be just personal relationships. And we put an intention on that. We feel that. Think of something beautiful. Think of flowers. Think of something that really just makes you feel love, makes you feel whole, makes you feel compassion, okay? And then with that feeling tone, we put a statement on that. And with the feeling tone, we send that feeling tone out to meet the soulmate. Now, this is all in the invisible, so this takes faith, but it still works, okay, because we're doing it anyway. Now, as we build this energy every day in every way, you can do it a couple of times a day. So when we go into that panic, I'm never going to be loved again. Don't do that. Just say, I'm going to send this energy out. Or think of your beloved animal and how much you love your animal, okay? Feel that in your heart. And then say, if that was a person, this is what I would feel, and this is what I'm sending to them. Instead of saying it with flowers, say it with energy. And in due time, at the appropriate hour, which usually your astrologer can tell you that, okay? We can feel them coming in that. And, there can be that prediction because the person can be close. But then we get all freaked out and we blow it off, and then we spend hours, we really put such passion into the negative. I'm never going to be loved. That's never going to happen. What if we did put that passion and reversed it and put it into a fabulous performance piece about the ecstasy of awaiting the beloved, that you could feel it? It's kind of like the poetry of Rumi. Rumi is always in the presence of the divine. Whether the divine is far or near, Rumi is aware of it, the ecstatic poet. So if you would exchange your negative performances of you're never going to have to absolutely, and then in due time, that being is vibrating. That being has an electromagnetic field that is in harmony with yours. And life does the rest. And then when we meet that being, we run. Very often, that's what somebody will do. It's like, oh, no. I didn't know they were going to be short, or I didn't know that, whatever it is that game we play. Okay, it's really an excuse because we're really not up to the chore of staying conscious and loving. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do field manifestation, feeling that energy and believing that your soulmate can hear you and send the signal in a feeling tone and intention. No lists, because words get in the way. So it's particularly powerful today because of this eclipse in Taurus. Taurus loves love. Very sensual. So that's the little exercise for today. If you so wish, I'm going to be doing it, so I'll keep you posted as to what happens. And now we're going to move on, as we always do, to the 4 eternal women. And over the next couple of weeks, probably a month, we're going to be talking about the 4 eternal archetypes. So today will be the mother, and the opposite of the mother is the Heritar. And then the other opposites are the Amazon, and the opposite of the Amazon is the Medea woman. And I'm going to be explaining these. So settle in, my loves. This is going to be good stuff. I can feel it. I love this. I love soul. I love psyche. I love Venus. I'm really, truly Venus-possessed. And here, and I want to share all this. Okay, so the 4 major archetypes, okay? And now what these forms represent structuring patterns of psychological behavior linked to instinct, which are evident only through their manifestation in women's behavior, and carry aspects of the unconscious material. So in astrology, we would see it as the signs, but they are psychological, and they're ruled by an archetype. They're ruled by a star, which is an archetypal force, and an electromagnetic force. It all comes together. So once your prominent type is made conscious, which is what we're going to be exploring this month, the greatest problem lies is in when, let's say we're going to talk about the mother, and you're over-identified with the mother. Okay, now there's the mother archetype, and there's the personal mother. And when we get those two confused, we're really in trouble. Okay, well, when we get any archetype, because the archetype is a pure energy, and then the personal is how we manifest it in our life. We cannot be a goddess. Okay, so the greatest problem lies in when there is inflexibility to the patterns of the primary type. So we're having the example of the mother. So if someone is so totally identified with mother, she's not interested in the passion, in the seduction, and very often the mother archetype will eliminate the husband lover because she's just interested in nurturing. She doesn't realize it. She wants to mother the whole world and then cries, "Where's my honey man? Well, you're going to make that conscious. So the greatest problem lies in when there is inflexibility to the patterns of the primary type. To remain caught in one principal archetype position or self-image is like a slow death. Or when somebody says, well, I absolutely know myself, and I think, yeah, right. Because the most conscious person is only 2% conscious. There's so much going on. And this is also what I would like to share and reveal and poke and terrify, whatever I got to do to get you moving, that the unconscious is running the show. And that's the whole point of consciousness. We're becoming aware of all these magnificent realms and possibilities that we can draw on. And when a person is very frightened, they won't do that. They just get stuck. It's like petite mal. They're just stuck on one image. And that's what creates the slow death. That's what a midlife crisis is. It's like, holy moly, I just identify as this, and this. I'm the breadwinner, but I can never be a performer. And when your secret desire has always been to take classes and learn to act, do it. Okay. If we become rigid or stuck in the primal image, the personality takes on certain rigidity. It is an unconscious invitation for the shadow possibilities to take over the positive qualities of the type and sabotage them. So in the case of the mother, suddenly somebody, contacts them on Facebook and love, and whew, they're on fire with passion and love, and it comes out of nowhere, and they're terrified, and it throws their world into pure chaos. Once again, if we become rigid or stuck in the primal image, the personality takes on a certain rigidity. And it is an unconscious invitation for the shadow possibilities to take over the positive qualities of the type. So and sabotage them. So you may have a natural maternal instinct, and you want the greatest good for whoever you think you're in charge of, but then you get so identified in that, that the shadow shows up. And what happens is the person becomes domineering and power-driven. I know what's best for you. Just shut up. Do it. It's like, and then people run. Okay. So that's the shadow of it. Okay. So these behaviors and attitudes developed autonomously and for the most part are beyond conscious awareness. So we're trying to bring some conscious awareness to these types. Okay. Each type has its own character and its set of attitudes, preferences, and behaviors common to the type. So Mother and Hatara represent the personal relationships. Amazon and Madiel represent impersonal related types. Okay. As each of us become familiar with both the personal and the impersonal characteristics of our own preferred type, we are reminded that all archetypes live to some degree in all of us. So we've got a little bit of everything. So we can switch. Because very often the opposite archetype is our redemption. Like the example I gave. Mother the whole world, and suddenly a honeyman shows up, and it's like, you know what, I'm going to the Harata. I want to be the companion. I want that. Okay. Or the Madiel woman who's kind of more like the psychic. She works in other realms. We go on a spiritual quest to be mothered. Okay. So our growth depends on our ability to integrate and assimilate into consciousness an understanding of our own archetypal preference first, and then the others over a period of time as we mature. So we have an affinity with these, okay? Now, very often, you won't realize this. I know this until I finish up this series, but usually the type that we identify with, it's opposite, okay, It's like if you choose the one that you least understand, it's like I least understand the Amazon. I'm not climbing mountains. That's not happening for me, and I don't have no interest in, being a CEO, okay? And yet I got lots of Amazonian friends who are fantastic. And, of course, the joke is, okay, that if we're driving by a mountain, I go, like, you're going to climb that mountain? Like, yeah, I love that. And I think, oh, that is so not me. I'll be in the cafe or making something beautiful, or, meet me at Bergdorf's. I'll be there, okay? But there are times that I have to do tasks. My challenges have always been they're Amazonian. They're almost impossible. And yet Spirit will put these tasks before me, and I got to do them. Okay. It may not be in corporation. It may be in my own attainment. But we're going to go over this again and again. Okay. So the personally related feminine archetypes are the mother and the Haratar. So the mother, which we're going to focus on, everybody knows something about a mother, whether you had one, whether you didn't have one. Okay? And some examples is Demeter or Princess Diana, Gaia, Earth's mother, an eclipse. We're having an eclipse to Earth's mother today, so write a love letter to the Earth's mother, or plant something, or just be aware of her sensuous possibility of blossoming. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the mother archetype. Mother Goose, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Mother Mira, the Virgin of Guadalupe. Okay, those are just a few. A mother as a woman whose primary ego is the well-being of her children or whoever she's in charge of. If the mother if she's like a zealous mother, it's like, come on, my little ducky wuckies, come on, let's get everything together, okay. She loses touch with her husband and inflates her sense of importance by becoming mother to everyone, nurturing all, children, sisters, family, friends, except, most often, herself and her husband. So in a sense, we have, Hera Unplugged over here. So the mother, the danger of identifying with too much mothering is you lose a sense of yourself and relationships with the other. The darker side of the mother archetype, and we're always going to talk about the dark because that's where the action is, that's where the plot is, that's where the gold is hidden. It's like, oh, I don't want to look at that. Look at it. That's energy. That's energy. Gold is in the depth of the great mother. It's in darkness. Well, it's in darkness within us too. So when we need some gold to overcome where we're stuck, of course something dark is going to come into our life. So I don't want to know about that, and or people go like, oh, I never saw that before. I didn't know. Well, yeah, it was dark to you, but everybody else saw it. So the darker side of the mother archetype can be just a force, a will to power over those she loves the most, and feels she must extend her attention far beyond the scope of her immediate friends and family. So that's the domineering one. Don't, just do as I say, not as I do. Now, on the positive side, the mother is cherishing and nourishing and helpful and charitable and teaching. Her instincts to all that is in the process of growth, all that is undeveloped, in need of protection, care, and assistance. So this Sunday we have Mother's Day. So I doubt, we honor our personal mothers or people who we see as the mother archetype, okay, as the mother, she has that, but we also secretly, we feel the shadow. It's like, yeah, but she's so domineering. She won't let me grow. And, of course, for those of us that are psychologically orientated, we know our individuation process starts with the mother complex. How were we mothered or not mothered? How are we mothering ourselves? Okay. So when she's in the positive, she does not condescend. It's not like, well, you're just a baby, okay? Or the one that drives me cuckoo is when, well, you know, men, they're just children. Well, how do they get to stay children? Because the mother, the dominant of the mother, keeps them children. We all know that one. So the positive mother, she doesn't condescend, but provides room to develop for development and security. And she finds her ego fulfillment in strengthening the object of her attention until, in the normal case, it can be dismissed from her care. It's a quote from Tony Wolff. Jung wrote that the positive aspects of the mother archetype, qualities associated with mother, are maternal solitude and sympathy, the magic authority of female, the wisdom and the spiritual exaltation that transcends reason, any helpful instinct or impulse, all that is benign, all that cherishes and sustains, that fosters growth and fertility. That's Uncle Carl, C.G. Jung. That's a quote from him. So the mother archetype, in a sense, is indeed far greater than the personal mother. The mother represents a universal, timeless component of the human psyche. That's on an archetypal level. All of us wish somehow that we had been perfectly mothered as children. And this Sunday we're going to go pay homage, or we're going to run to the other side. You know, if we still haven't resolved the mother, okay. And if you don't have a mother or your mother's passed over, I mean, we certainly can pay homage in spirit, but spend the day mothering the self. Write yourself a card. Send yourself flowers. Right? And if your children don't honor you, well, honor yourself. Go buy a pair of red shoes. Go party, which is so not the mothering type. Okay. So the ideal lies hidden in the psyche in all of us. If we are unaware of the universal collective power of this type, we will invest our own personal maternal experiences in the superhuman energy. This is where what we look at when we go into a process, a therapy. Psychology itself has bestowed superhuman powers onto mothers, and it gets us into a lot of trouble. The personal mother must understand that she will never be a perfect mother. Perfection belongs to the realm of the divine, and by virtue of its definition is beyond human accomplishment. So there's always that little mix-up. Or we project onto the mother or the mother image about the perfection that we want them to be. They should know our every need. Well, they're human. They're not going to know your every need. And they have needs too, you know. The children, you know, it's like, it takes us a long time to realize, wow, my mother really needed to be understood or hugged or it takes a long time. And that's why we need that compassion. And we need to be aware that the perfection is also projected by the infant onto the personal mother. And she is there both our object of our longing and the target of our ills. Watch a 2-year-old that doesn't get their way. And the mother says, no, that's not going to work. Kid loses it. And then you become bad. You're the bad mother. You're an evil witch. I hate you. And the mother, if she has a strong enough ego, doesn't take it personally and say, yes, my darling child, I have to be the evil witch and protect you from your own willfulness. Now, if that doesn't happen, the mother and child get into a power struggle. Oh, my God, 90 seconds. I've done it again. All right, I think we're going to be on this for 6 weeks. So the Queen Mother has told me I've got to bounce. Have a glorious day. I hope this helps. Observe the difference between the personal mother, you know, that loving nurturance, and when you're overdoing your act, it's like, and not taking care of yourself, not mothering the self, which is a very, very important part of consciousness. And I wish you all an internal and external happy Mother's Day, but most do that little visualization, feel that love in your heart. Send that to to the soulmate or the perfect job or the expression of your wholeness, and just do it all the time. And let's see what happens. It does. That's how magic works. Sympathetic magic. That's how it works. We think it's magic because we don't see it, but now that we have more quantum physics, we can see how this works. So have a glorious, glorious eclipse, and talk to you next week. And Facebook me on Venus Unplugged, or tweet. I'm tweeting. Have a glorious, glorious day. Bye.
They're gonna kill the love of my life. If I don't go back to what I was doing.
Our line of work is quite brutal and quite ruthless.
How far would you go for love?
You steal truck, bring it to me. Then you make your money.
Is it dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous!
Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, with Ben Kingsley and Anthony Hopkins.
All this trouble, all this pain, for love.
Collide. Now playing. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Collide. Now playing. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Collide. Now playing.